Okay, good morning, everyone. Is everybody still asleep? We're up now. Okay, thank you, Leanne, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. Mr. Sibusiso Zagwe, KZN Regional Branch Chairperson, Sabelo Gwala, Thabo Mashaba, Chief Director, MFFA, Capacity Building and Training, National Treasury, Faith Nyaga, Chief Director, Nolwazi Mdunge, CASA, Business Partner at Mondi Group, and CIGFARO. And then more importantly, the important young people that are in this room today. Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate being invited to address young minds, old minds, all sorts of minds, but more importantly, professionals in their own sector and industry. As Leanne has mentioned, my name is Zanele Khomo. I'm the Chief Growth Officer for the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Particularly, I'm very, very excited. I love speaking to young people, especially who are in internship programs, graduate programs, because I'm a product of a good internship program. If I can share a little short, quick story, years ago, when I was very, 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 very young, after I had graduated from Durban University of Technology, I got the opportunity to go be an intern for APSA Regional Office. Back then, it was in Embassy Building. And I think I am who I am today because of what that organization and that team did for me and the impact that they played in my life. My ground training was in that organization. Everything that I've known and learned about public relations, media, events, etc., started there. So when an opportunity comes for us now that we are older and we're in industry and we are to address young people, it's always a great pleasure and a privilege as well, because we appreciate the role that we have to play as mentors for some young people, and also just to share life experiences. And I especially love the topic for this year's Young, if I can call it correctly, Young Professionals Summit, Navigating Uncertainty, empowering young financial professionals for economic resilience. And hopefully today I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that and maybe just address a couple of small things and give a couple of tools on how to navigate this very, very tough economic environment that we are in, which I'm very sure that we can all succeed if we put our minds to it and we are committed. So I come from an organization called the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which was established in 1856. So we've been around for quite some time. You would ask, what is it that we really do as the Durban Chamber? So our core business is advocating, influencing policy decisions that affect the business community. We offer business support services. A lot of you may know, or if not, that when you come to the Durban Chamber, you're coming to register your business. So there is CIPC services. Not only that, but also we do certificates of origin as well as part of our business. Through our 20 sector-specific business forums, we provide business support, business advice, and more importantly, business training. So depending on the sector that you're in, and in this sector, it's the finance sector, we have quite intense programs and forums that speak a lot on what is it you need to know, what is it you need to understand. So these forums play a key role in young people who are starting out in their various industries, but more importantly, people who are starting out in their businesses. It gives them the tools that they need in order to succeed in their businesses. We also provide business advisory services that I just mentioned, and through international relations, another division that we have within the Durban Chamber, we're able to provide international relations for businesses, whether it's embassies coming into South Africa or vice versa as well, because we're huge advocates of getting young people, not only young people, but business people, to be recognized abroad as well. Okay. So those are some of the core services that we provide as the Durban Chamber. We play a key role in making sure that we support the business community of eThekwini to make sure that we navigate the current economic challenges that we have right now if you are in eThekwini, if you are in KwaZulu-Natal, and in South Africa as a whole as well. Now, back to why I'm here today. I was asked to address all of you as young people, young minds, on this very, very important topic of how do you navigate in such a tough economic environment, particularly in your sector. What are the skills and what are the things that you need to know and remember? I just only have one ask. If you forget everything today, I want you to remember two things. One, how to use the challenges to your advantage. Number two, how to navigate these challenges. Okay. So when you look up, I was doing some research and gathering this and that, and then when you look on the internet, when it speaks about economic resilience, something really stood out. It defined it as efficient use of remaining resources at a given point in time to produce as much as possible. I'll repeat it. Efficient use of remaining resources at a given point in time to produce as much as possible, which is exactly where we are right now as the city of eThekwini, the province, and the country. We must make do with what we have in the small amount of time that we have and in the tough economic times that we have. We are on survival mode. How many of you have watched Survivor? Hands? Thank you. All right. So Survivor isn't about who is fit physically. Survivor is a mental game. Survivor is a game of strategic alignment. It's market segmentation. It's a psychological game of assessing your opponent and using their weakness against them. But more importantly, Survivor is about resilience. You had a wonderful definition where you talked about resilience and what resilience is. So that's what Survivor is. It's resilience, continuous determination even when there is adversity. So dealing with uncertainty is not just a skill, but rather an essential requirement in an environment that is constantly changing. The business environment of South Africa is changing. It's getting tougher and tougher. We came from COVID, something that we've never experienced. We went from seeing each other to being virtual, which was tough. It was a very, very tough almost 3 years. Just after we came from that, we had the unrest, the worst here in KwaZulu-Natal, in eThekwini particularly, and then we had the floods. All catastrophic events, one after another. I mean, we could have easily given up. We could have easily said, you know what, this is it. I don't think the city, the country, the province can handle any more. But we didn't. We were resilient. And more importantly, what came out of there was the amazing, innovative ideas and solutions that were brought on by adversity. So people stopped feeling sorry for themselves and saying, oh, everything it's finished, there are no jobs, I can't do anything. But a lot of us were looking at innovative solutions on, okay, this is where I am right now, how am I going to survive? In my career, in my profession, how am I going to make the most of what I have and the kind of experience that I have in order to sustain myself? So, I mean, if we look at the things that are happening right now, we're struggling. We're struggling as the city. We've got problems with energy, water and sanitation, crime, and for almost 2 years in a row, the investor confidence has reached an all-time low. And that's purely because of the factors of the environment. When the environment is not conducive for business, it affects investor relations, which means we need to look at how we can play a role and say, okay, so this is the current situation that we're in right now. These are the challenges. How are we going to come around that and see a way forward so that we can invest in our economy? Because we want to see the city of eThekwini succeed. We want to see the city of eThekwini reclaim its name again and be South Africa's playground, where there's opportunities, where we flourish and we grow. So uncertainty is a tough word, because when you are uncertain, you don't know what the future holds, basically. So, which means what? Do you dwell on, okay, all of us here, a reality check, a sad reality check is those of us who possibly are employed already or who are going to be, and there are some of us who won't be. And that's purely because of the economy. But that's not a bad message. It's actually a good reality check, because right now, when Mr. Zago, we were talking in the other room, we were talking about young people, and what I love the most is what this organization is doing when it comes to you invest in young people from high school, telling them and teaching them from high school, tertiary, up until then they become interns, etc., which is exactly what we need to do. From ground level to middle, up until we qualify. So we all have a responsibility amongst each other. So my tough message of some of us will get employed, some of us won't, is more of encouragement to say, okay, if I'm on the other side, what am I going to do after my internship? It's a tough question. What am I going to do after my internship? Because I know that almost everybody in this room is applying if you are not employed already. So, and that's the whole purpose of internship. While you're inside, because number one, the organizations know and understand that the resources are there, so you've got the internet, you now also are having work experience, so you're understanding the world of work. And as you're going, you're getting in, you're applying, and you must. Because we are all frightened, we are all scared, we all don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you can do something about it today. Instead of being complacent and waiting, you can be proactive. That's another way of also navigating in uncertainty. Be proactive. Ask as many questions as you want. Learn from those who have come before you. I love, my father used to have a quote, and it was, he used to say, always remain teachable. Yeah, always remain teachable. Ask, learn, because that's the only way that, number one, you can broaden your mind and your understanding of what is happening within your industry. And not only just within your industry, make it a habit to understand other industries. Because another tool of navigating in uncertainty is not just being rigid and saying, I'm in finance and that's it. No, it's not it. There's more. Because every organization, irrespective of what it is that you're doing, needs a finance person, right? Which means any organization that you are joining or you have joined, you need to know and understand that particular business. I'm a marketer. I'm media, I'm PR. Did not study finance, and it was not my strength in high school either. And I'm glad I discovered that very early in my life. However, through the years, I've taken it upon myself to learn about finance, because right now, in the position that I hold, I'm a director, so I need to understand the finances of the business. I'm not the CFO, but I work closely with the CFO. And even till today, I'm still learning, because we know we have to forecast, we have to budget, everything that I never knew and I never thought I would do, I have to do. So I had to adapt. You need to adapt. You need to, I think it was a movie or something like you adapt or you die. You really have to adapt so that you're able to navigate in a tough economic environment. Because if you don't, that's why we get young people who are despondent, who are stressed, and also mentally, who struggle with mental health. Because you get to a point where you're like, I'm qualified, I've got everything, I was first in my class, I did everything that I needed to do. I was brilliant when I was in my internship, but I'm sitting at home and I'm not employed. And all you do is you count all of the things that you can't have, because now you look at your other colleagues and your friends and everyone around you, because we are human beings. We have feelings. They've been fortunate. They're moving on. They're in employment. They've moved on. They're doing this. They're doing that. And all of those thoughts harm your mental health. And depression comes in. And that's where there's a spurge of sometimes crime. Because you will sit and you'd look, I'm qualified, I've got everything, but I don't have a job. So what do I need to do? I need to go find a job. And it's unfortunate that other decisions are not really the greatest decisions. That's where crime, fraud, I saw there's a topic tomorrow about a whole lot of things when it comes to that as well. So I would encourage you to listen and pay attention, because there's so many life lessons that we learned during this time of internship that plays such a huge role when we're older and we realize that, yeah, I wish I would have paid more attention to that, because right now, where I am in my career, I need that. So, you must remember survivor. Going back to what I said earlier, that as a city of eThekwini, we could have easily fallen apart. As a province, as South Africa, but we didn't. They came up with a term after the 2021-2022 floods, quazilians. What is quazilians? They said we can overcome a crisis upon a crisis during a crisis. Again, we can overcome a crisis upon a crisis during a crisis. We are courageous and come together for the greater good. We are committed, we are passionate, and we are community-based. We are resilient, and we are exceptional together. And the key message in all of these little small different definitions and key points is there's a lot of togetherness. There's a lot of what can the other person offer that I can tap into, and that's business. So how can you, if you are not going to be on the other part of we getting employment, maybe we come together and we could become a firm of chartered accountants. Am I correct? I think so. Yeah. We register a business. We come to the Durban Chamber, we go to CIPC, we register our business. There's 4 of us. We want to get into an equal partnership. We look at the kind of business that we want to open, a PTY, a whatever. And you want to start being chartered accountants. Chartered accountants in your community. Whether you live in a township, rural area, urban area, wherever. See how you can play a role in developing and empowering, particularly in the communities that we come from and where we were raised, because there's so much that is lacking in terms of education. We were talking a couple of days with other people, and we're talking about the fact that when you look at the different, there's the spaza associations, the taxi associations, umama who makes amagwinya in the morning and does all of those things as you're driving by and you buy. All of those businesses need the services of you guys, because you guys understand finance, budgeting, forecasting, planning. Umama making amagwinya needs to know how to sustain herself and not just make money to buy a stock for the following day and the following day and the following day. The magwinya industry is an empire. Everybody in this room loves a magwinya. We love them. So why don't we have this massive factory or this I don't know, something where we have all of these mamas making amagwinya going to their strategic spots? Because everybody has got their spots, especially where it's industrial areas where there's a lot of traffic. So if it's down in where there's a lot of construction workers. So a complete business chain, which requires the services of everybody in this room. Because you guys can put together the financial model and the financial plan to make sure that that business is sustainable and it thrives. So it all just comes back to you. No one else. but you. Your attitude, your drive, your passion, and your resilience. That's how you're going to navigate this very, very tough economic time. And tapping on each other. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Collaborating, it's key. Collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. Network. Get into networking. Attend events that are going to be beneficial for you. We love the ones where we go out and drink and have fun, but we must also love the ones where we are in a position to be in a room with people who can hire us. That's also something I learned when I was during my internship at ABSA. Be in a room with the potential of people who can hire me. And make sure that I make an impression, I leave an indelible mark that they will know that there's that young person who's driven. I suppose it's easy with events because you set up and PR and you write press releases and you do all of those things. So they could say, okay, there was that little one who was just going up and down 1,000 times and was doing this and that, which was good. Because then I was able to make sure they remember me, that I was the one who's being sent, even if it's getting coffee 1,000 times, I'll get that coffee 1,000 times. I'll take care of my guests. I'll make sure that everybody has everything that they need. Now that was me in my skill. But then there's things that you guys do and the rooms that you need to be in and to make sure that you familiarize yourself and be part of associations such as this one, and even more, even nationally and internationally, because opportunities expand beyond our country, but it all starts here, because you need to go through your own South African association so that you get exposure internationally. Because Babzagwe, they know the international counterparts. There's nothing wrong with you as a young person being more active here so that they recognize you and you're able to build those relations. That's the only way to survive, and that's the only way you can stay resilient. So today, unlock your opportunities. Gain a vast network. Be amongst business leaders. Grow, evolve, adapt, so that you're able to survive in these economic times. Thank you so much.